So coming to today's important topic. What is it? It is about the Reiki principle. Though we are going to discuss the first principle today, quick testing time. फटाफट टाइप करो या बोलो 5 प्रिंसिपल कौन से है रेकी के? Quickly.
Just for today, I'll not anger. Just I forgot.
बोलो. 15 बच्चे यहाँ पे 15. 5 रेकी प्रिंसिपल किसी को याद नहीं? वो कैमरा के पीछे जो मुंह छुपा के बैठे हैं सारे के सारे. ऐसा मत समझो कि कैमरा ऑफ है तो आई विल नॉट नोटिस, आई विल नॉट एंगर, आई विल नॉट वरी. ये 2 प्रिंसिपल हुए. और 3 कौन से है?
I'll be grateful.
I will live with attitude of gratitude. और 2?
Not harm.
नया प्रिंसिपल मत बनाओ तुम यहाँ पे प्रिया. जयराज, honest, compassionate. Honest to some extent, compassionate प्रिंसिपल में नहीं है बेटा.
I'll not harm.
Kindness. I'll be kind.
काइंड बट थोड़ा और स्पेसिफिक. जैसे जयराज ने कंपैशन कहा, कंपैशन काइंड बट बी स्पेसिफिक. और
I'll be kind to myself and others.
just for today I will love and respect everyone.
Just okay.
And the last one is just for today I will do my work honestly. स्कूल टाइम में हमारे जमाने में पनिशमेंट मिलती थी ना, ऐसे लिखा होगा सबने उस समय पे नोटबुक में, आई विल नॉट टॉक, आई विल नॉट लाई. 100 टाइम्स लिखने लगाते थे टीचर. आई विल बी ओबीडियंट. सबके सब यहाँ लिखेंगे अभी रेकी प्रिंसिपल्स नोटबुक में 100 बार. राइट इट डाउन 100 टाइम्स इन योर नोटबुक. Remember, particularly all of you, those who had attended physical workshops. I used to specifically tell in the physical workshops, Reiki principles, good to know, good to implement, but if they are in the file, they will always be there in the file. I'd ask you people to make screensavers, write them down and paste on your wall, take printout. Didn't I? All those physical batches, kids. क्या फर्क है फिर आप में और ऑनलाइन बैच वालों में? ऑनलाइन बैच वाले वैसे ही बेचारे क्या बोलते सफर करते हैं, बट फिजिकल वाले, और यहाँ मैक्सिमम फिजिकल वाले हैं मेरे सामने. So today, cutting down, I am cutting down on my anger. Just for today I will not anger. इसलिए मैं तुम पे गुस्सा नहीं करूंगी, प्यार से समझाऊंगी. लिखो प्रिंसिपल्स और फॉलो करो. Okay? Write them out somewhere. Make a screensaver. Let it be out there on your wardrobe. फ्रिज में मैग्नेट से लगाओ. Because if they are visible, you'll आंख पड़ेंगी, इम्प्लीमेंट करोगे. So beginning properly with the topic of just for today, I will not anger. That is, this is the first principle prescribed by Dr. Mikao Usui. When he started teaching Reiki, he made certain 5 principles which he wanted each practitioner to follow and implement in their personal life. But technically, these principles are something which everyone should. Because if every human being starts following these principles, automatically life quality will improve. Everything will change. So now coming to the topic of just for today, I will not anger. If you have noticed, in front of every principle, there is this sentence just for today. Why? So that you play the mind game with your mind. Usually the mind plays the mind games na with us. आज नहीं कल सफाई करनी है यार अलमारी की, कल पक्का. जिम जाना है, न्यू ईयर से 1 तारीख से आई एम गोइंग टू डू दैट. क्लीनिंग पक्का, बस ये वीकेंड आई एम गोइंग टू डू इट. We have this tendency to procrastinate. So what we are going, when we are saying just for today, I will not anger. So it's like you're telling your mind, कल पक्का गुस्सा. सुबह उठते बराबर ना, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shout and I'm going to vent all my anger. But just for today, I will not anger. And you have to follow this every day. So every day you have to just say that sentence again and tell your mind, कल. And वो tomorrow never comes है ना, वो वाली चीज हम इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे कहाँ? हमारे पर्सनल लाइफ पे, हमारे निगेटिव क्वालिटीज पे. So you are going to tell yourself, just for today, I will not anger. Now, why we are focusing so much on the emotion of anger? Any emotion, when it gets generated in your body, whether it's positive or negative, in its very basic form, what is it? सवाल पूछा है, इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई?
Energy.
Energy.
Yes. So every emotion, whether positive or negative, it is energy. पॉजिटिव एनर्जी जो है पॉजिटिव इमोशन की, हम कंज्यूम कर लेते हैं, यूटिलाइज कर लेते हैं. वी सेलिब्रेट, वी गो आउट, वी डांस, वी जंप, वी आर हैप्पी, वी एंड अप डूइंग सो मेनी थिंग्स. Same way, when negative energy is generated, every negative emotion has a negative energy behind it. And the basic law of physics is energy once created cannot be destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another. Great. यहाँ लगता है सिर्फ नीता has been paying attention. In schools also, in my classes also. बाकी सब blank हो गए हैं. So what happens is, once that negative emotion, let us say emotion of anger, once that emotion is generated, what will happen? It will be there into your system. And until and unless you get rid of it, what will happen? It will stay there. Now, इसमें सबसे important चीज है when you get angry. एक सबसे important बात ध्यान रखो, गुस्सा आना ही नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है? पर हम अभी उस महात्मा लेवल पे नहीं पहुंचे. We are not there yet. We are living human beings having a day-to-day materialistic life where we interact with 100 number of people. Even though we may not be meeting anyone personally, but we do due to online systems, due to website interactions. क्योंकि जब आप एक chat box में भी किसी से chat करते हो, you are interacting with that person. So energy exchange keeps on happening. We get connected to so many people, right from rickshawalas, shopkeepers, to your colleagues, family members and loved ones. And energy transfer happens one person to another. So if your family member is angry, what happens? घर का एटमॉस्फेयर खराब होता है.
Yes.
कितनी बार होता है हम फैमिली मेंबर को बोलते हैं, यार तेरे ऑफिस का गुस्सा ना तू ऑफिस में उतार के आया कर. Don't carry it home. Don't we say that? So understand one thing, anger is contagious. And tell me one thing, when you are angry, आप सबसे ज्यादा किसका नुकसान करते हो? Your anger, whom they will destroy the most?
Ourselves.
Ourselves?
Ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Family members also.
Also. Your external environment also.
Ourselves, when you say, आपका गुस्सा आप खुद को तकलीफ दे रहे हो, चलो, आपका look out. But yes, the anger you pass on to whom? Your family members, your external environment. And what happens then? You end up punishing them for no reason, No mistake of theirs? Now tell me one thing. When you are angry, do you go and slap a total stranger? एक रास्ते से ऑटो वाला जा रहा है, आप उसको रोकोगे, आज मेरे को बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है, उसको थप्पड़ मारोगे? Will you do that? You'll not go and take out your anger on a total stranger. But you went out on someone you love.
No.
You went out on someone who is close to you. It happens, right? So, and then you apologize sometimes, not even always. क्योंकि वर्बल सॉरी बोलना बहुत ही ईगो को हर्ट करने वाली चीज होती है ना. तो क्या बोलते हो आप? यार तू ही तो मेरा अपना है. You know, I love you so much. That's why like I take out all my anger on you. तेरे पे नहीं निकालूंगा तो किस पे निकालूंगा? We end up giving such pathetic excuses. So on one hand, you are telling that person, I love you so much. And on other hand, you hurt that person by using some very bad language or even physically violent things. Luckily, I would like to say or assume we live in time and space where we have progressed, where we don't get physically violent that much, at least the people sitting over here. I'm not saying everyone doesn't do that. I have seen some very well educated standard family members in others families, like in environment. I've seen people, education has got nothing to do, or even money has got nothing to do with civilized behavior. In fact, somehow people start believing if they have got status and position, they can throw tantrums and behave the way they like. Unfortunately, that does happen. So you need to understand over here is, when you are angry, you end up spoiling or marring the very relationship which you love the most. You go on hurting the people whom you care for. And tell me, physical मार ज़्यादा hurt करती है या verbal मार? All of you,
Verbal.
go back to the traumas that you have,
Verbal.
right? And if any one of you has that doubt, if verbal के बारे में, all the traumas that you are having in your system, all the baggages that you are having in your system, क्यों? 10 साल पहले फलाने ने आपके ये बोला था. 25 years ago, your parents had insulted you in front of the guest. 15 years ago, your teacher did humiliate you in front of entire classroom. So if someone would have slapped you or beat you physically, you might have forgotten it. Incident याद होगा, but it doesn't hurt anymore, right? What hurts is the energy, the verbal abuse, the verbal words. One very common advice that I give to couples is, don't say what you don't mean. So for example, I had this couple for counseling who used to, like, when they used to fight, they say, हाँ आप तलाक ले लेते हैं, I will divorce you and whatever. Again and again they used to do that. So I made them sit down and asked, do you really want to divorce each other? And their answer was no. They did not mean that. पर वो हमने taken for granted है, मतलब हमको पता है ये ऐसा कुछ मीन नहीं करता, मीन नहीं करती करके. You want to know why your relationship is having, like, this ups and downs, or you're having so much trouble because you keep on giving that energy. आप गुस्से में बड़बड़ करते हो वो सारी चीजें जो सामने वाले के सबकॉन्शियस में बैठ जाती है, because whatever you say, it will go and get accumulated into the front person's subconscious, and though you did not mean it, it will stay with the person, and the immediate reaction will not come to you now. But next time when unpleasant things happen, arguments happen, or anything that is not in your favor happens, the trigger comes from this incident which you had a week back, a month back, or whenever. So what you are doing is you are planting the seed of a negative energy in front person when you discharge your anger on the person. तो आपको ये करना है. Are you going to do that? Because ultimately at some point of time you are going to pay for it. And what's the point of loving someone if you're going to hurt the person again and again like this? I completely agree and understand when people say, I can't help it. गुस्सा आ जाता है. Of course, there is not a switch off or on button कि गुस्सा आया तो बटन ऑफ कर दी. नहीं नहीं नहीं. I understand that completely. But my question over here is, are you becoming consciously aware about your anger? And particularly what happens is mostly people assume, okay, I am short-tempered person, I am an angry person, and जो भी मेरे इर्द गिर्द रहता है, the people around me should accept me like this. Why? I'm not going to say it will disappear overnight, miraculously. So coming back to the first sentence, first of all, anger आना ही नहीं चाहिए. Anger shouldn't come in the first place, but it is coming right now because we are yet to reach that level. So if it is coming, you have to learn how to deal with it. And that's why what you need to do is you need to give creative outlet to your anger. What do you mean by creative outlet? It is the energy which is arising inside of you. Normally, you must have seen when people are angry, there are two types mostly. One, जो भड़ करेंगे and they will take it out on others or environment or whatever. And there are others who are introverts who will internalize the anger. गुस्से को पी जाएंगे. What happens? First case में at least वो इंसान फ्री है. So इर्द गिर्द वालों पे जो होगा सो होगा. It's not a good thing I'm saying, but I'm saying that person is, that energy which had generated in his or her system, they are taking it out. But the person who internalizes it, it goes within the system and starts getting accumulated. One of the reasons for cancers is anger. One of the reasons, not the only reason, okay? So what happens is when there is this tremendous anger in your system, it gets stored somewhere. Depending on whatever your body's weakness or whatever other permutation combination are, it will get stored somewhere in your physical body and form a knot, or what we commonly call a clot. And when this is a repetitive process, again and again, this multiple clotting will happen, which will become a tumor. So you are understanding, it is that powerful that it can result into a tumor. So this is one of the psychological reasons of cancers. One of the. So you need to understand, if that energy is that powerful, if you are going to use it creatively, what kind of results you can get from it. There's this joke that once there was a wood cutter, and he was very much capable than his counterparts, and वो एक दिन में he could cut 2 trees. Other counterparts say would cut 1 tree per day, and he could cut 2 trees per day. So उसको एक दिन उसके दोस्तों ने पूछा, भाई क्या है राज, what is it that makes you so much expert in the field? And he said, my wife. She makes me so angry. So when I cut a wood, when I cut a tree, I just imagine I'm cutting her down. And I take out all my anger on the tree. And that's how I'm able to channelize that energy into the cutting process. And that is making me expert. Disclaimer, I'm not saying cutting tree is right thing. or imagining cutting your wife is right thing. But as long as he is not actually harming the person, it is venting out his emotions and taking it out positively. So that was making him expert in his work. So in older times particularly, अगर आप अपनी माताओं को याद करोगे, I can still recall my mother's thing कि जब वो आटा गूंदती थी, and when she used to be angry, so वो आटे का जो गोला होता है ना, फटक करके परात पे पड़ता था. So वो आवाज से हम समझ जाते थे मम्मी का कुछ बिगड़ा हुआ है. रोटियां तो बड़ी अच्छी बन जाती थी उस चक्कर में, क्योंकि वो आटे को बहुत प्यार से गूंदा गया था, बहुत ज्यादा रगड़ रगड़ के. But older times, women, when they were angry, बर्तन पटकेंगी, कपड़े पटक पटक के धोएंगी, एकदम साफ हो जाते थे. So that can be a de-stressing activity for them. They used to take this out. So this is called creative channelization of the negative energy. That is what you can do. You can creatively transfer your negative emotion. If you are into any physical activity, particularly jogging, dancing, running, gymming, so when you are angry, go and do that. Automatically, you will be channelizing the energy. Another thing is, when you go out, like क्या बोलते, अगर if possible है आपके लिए, go to a park, hug a tree and channelize your anger to it. Just request that tree, please take away my emotions, negative emotions, and it will go down to Mother Earth, and Mother Earth will recycle it. Because energy once created cannot be destroyed. So imagine when you give that energy to the tree is sending it to Mother Earth and transmuting it. So it might be utilized for something good. Again, what you can do is take a newspaper, visualize that person to be that newspaper. If it is about a person, फाड़ो उसको, छोटे छोटे पीसेस कर दो उसके. So automatically you are turning away that emotion into something constructive, not exactly in terms of creativity, but you're transmuting that energy out from your system so that it will not affect you personally. Shower on करके चिल्लाओ. Get it out of your system. Go on the topmost floor, terrace पे जाओ, building के, वहां पे जाके चिल्लाओ. Take a pillow, punch it. पूरा गुस्सा उस पे निकालो. So when you do all these things, what happens is you're transmuting that negative energy. चीजें फोड़ने में मैं विश्वास नहीं रखती, बट आपका मन करता है आप फोड़ सकते हो. जस्ट मेक श्योर यू डोंट ब्रेक एनीथिंग दैट यू विल रिग्रेट लेटर ऑन कि ये मेरा प्यारा कप था, ये क्या कर दिया. आई हैव सीन पीपल डिस्ट्रॉइंग थिंग्स एंड देन दे रिग्रेट दैट. फायदा क्या हुआ? एक नेगेटिव इमोशन को दूसरे नेगेटिव इमोशन से रिप्लेस कर रहे हो फिर आप. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव टू get it out of your system, and if you can do it as constructively as possible, good. If not, I gave you other techniques. So I'm not just talking about suppressing anger, but I am giving you the ways to channelizing it. Let's talk about anger transference. If you don't deal, Jairaj is writing, yes Jairaj, food ka, of course, a food which is made with anger energy, it's not going to be healthy. So definitely not. So मैंने जो टिप्स दी है उसमें मैंने वो टिप नहीं बताई कि आटा गूंद लो करके. कपड़े जरूर धो पर. So you can still ditch your washing machine on those days and wash out your clothes. One of my de-stressing activities when I'm angry or when I am like under stress, I just start cleaning my wardrobes. मैं अलमीरा कैबिनेट कुछ भी उठाती हूँ and I start cleansing it. तो बराबर साफ हो जाता है उस दिन. So you can do that. Put your energy somewhere. That will definitely help. Okay? तांडव नृत्य शिवजी ने सिखाया है हमको. Go and do the तांडव नृत्य. Get out your energy. So about anger transference also, I will give you another example. Let us say आपको आज बहुत गुस्सा आया. ओके? क्यों? क्योंकि आपके बॉस ने जो है आपको चिल्लाया किसी बात को लेके. They said, those of you are working, they said कि ये काम ठीक से नहीं हुआ, वो काम ठीक से नहीं हुआ, whatever, blah blah blah, and they transferred that anger upon you. अब आपने काम ठीक से किया था उस दिन. There are a lot of assumptions in this story, so I'm mentioning those assumptions beforehand. So you had done your work absolutely appropriately, and yet your boss scolded you for not doing it nicely. So in that situation, let's go to the background of this. It could be very likely that boss was given a very bad scolding by his wife. He had a very bad fight in the morning with his wife, and she unvented herself completely on this person. And since he was suppressed, the common marriage jokes, बीवी dominate करती है, आदमी तो कुछ नहीं करते ना, बेचारे होते हैं. So considering that joke, he was बेचारा suppressed इंसान, बीवी को वापस he couldn't answer back. So he came to the office and he vented upon you. This is a common incidence that people are angry upon you for no reason. होता है ना? मैंने क्या किया? आप आंसर. Depending on what equation you share in that relationship, you will answer like that. अगर फ्रेंड वगैरह है तो आप मुंह पे बोल दोगे, ए मैंने क्या किया, मेरे पे मत निकाल गुस्सा. Or if it's a relationship with in-laws, authoritative figures, you're not able to answer back ना. ए मैंने क्या किया, मुझे मत बोल करके. You have to listen because there is this authority. So first thing, when you are at receiving end of any angry situation, cut the cord, detach yourself, and ask, is it personal? Like in this example, you are 100% sure you were not wrong. You had done work absolutely accurately. And फिर भी, your boss bashed you. That means it was not personal. That was just a transference from one person to another. किसी और का गुस्सा किसी और पे निकल रहा है. So in that case, what you need to do is, you need to first of all cut cord and set yourself free, because it is not direct. It is not related to you. तो इसमें वो अगर आपके सिस्टम में ही नहीं घुसेगा तो प्रोसेसिंग की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. So be sure about your own actions, thoughts, deeds, जिसमें बाकी के रेकी प्रिंसिपल्स काम में आते हैं ऑटोमेटिकली. Just for today I will do my work honestly. आपने ऑनेस्टली अपना काम किया है तो आपको डरने की झुकने की जरूरत नहीं है. Though it's an authoritative figure and you may not be able to answer back, but you know it's not your mistake. So let go, because what likely happens in this situation is, since the anger did not belong to you in any case, but the boss got angry upon you, you get worked up, then you might go and talk to your subordinate. आप भी फिर बिना सोचे समझे, तेरे को बोला था ना अच्छे से फाइल प्रिपेयर कर, why you did not do it? You should have done the calculations properly. I got the bashing from the boss. First of all, the work was accurate. You were right. but boss shouted on you for no reason and you passed on that negativity to your subordinate. Now this subordinate, he cannot give you back like you couldn't give back to your boss, and he goes home and shouts on his wife because uska mood kharab hai. So she shouts on him. If let us say she is a very kya bolte she is a persona who is capable of giving back, so they end up having an argument. Or if she is a submissive person, ये husband जो है पूरा गुस्सा उस पे निकाल दे रहा है and she's taking all of it. Now she's angry. What to do? So she shouts on her kamwali bai, the maid servant. मालिक ने मालकिन का दिमाग खराब किया, मालकिन ने बाई पे चिल्लाया. So what happens? Again, bai cannot shout back on the malkin, can she? If your maid will shout back on you, will you ask her to come again next day? You'll show her the door. So of course, when you shout on the maid, as usual, what she will do is she will simply tolerate it. So she goes home. उसका बच्चा खेल रहा था. बच्चे as usual जो मस्ती करना है करते हैं. So she takes it all upon that little kid. और बच्चा है तो क्या अपना ही बच्चा है, दो चार लगा दो. इंडियन कम्युनिटी में वी आर एब्सोल्युटली ओके विद बच्चे को दो चार लगाना. And that little poor 5-year-old doesn't even know what he's getting beaten up for. And उसके सिस्टम में ट्रॉमा हो जाएगा फिर. So normally maximum traumas get into your system in the age group of 0 to 7. And they are the most difficult to deal with because your conscious memory forgets the time period 0 to 7 until and unless it's a very significant event. So your persona forms because of what happens to you in 0 to 7 and then you forget. फिर मेरे पास ही आते हो बड़े होने के बाद थेरेपी करने. Dipti, this has happened to me. I don't know why I react like this. So I have to take you back 0 to 7 में then and see what went wrong. So imagine that misplaced anger of the boss resulted into traumatizing a kid. That's how deadly anger can be. And you being, I put you in the middle. I did not put you in the position of the boss or the subordinate. I put you in the middle. That is, you could have prevented because you are a spiritually aware soul. आप अभी capable हो, right? To understand things. So if you can understand that if someone is being angry upon me for no reason, you need to show compassion, of course, but at the same time, you need to cut off from the negative emotion and do not allow it to be transferred to you. Because if you take it, it's very likely you will also pass it on to someone else. So whenever you are in middle of an argument, in middle of something negative, which is burning you up, building inside you, what you need to do is immediately cut the cord. Anger आना नहीं चाहिए पर आ रहा है. Go into the pantry in the office or washroom in the office. Ground yourself, cut the cord, take out the negativity. Analyze the situation. Is it really right? Do I really need to give bashing to my subordinate or someone else? And then accordingly act up. And don't just pass on the emotion. At the same time, one needs to understand when I say anger, people often confuse anger with aggression. See, if you are a team leader, if you are in some क्या बोलते executive position, or if you are, for example, in army, you cannot be compassionate and protect your land. You cannot just say enemy को हाथ जोड़ के अरे भाई मत अटैक करो and वो बोलेंगे हाँ ठीक है मैं अटैक नहीं करता. you have to be angry over there. Or in sports, for example. So when I'm saying anger in terms of taking action, I'm talking about aggression. So your root chakra needs certain amount of aggression to get things done. But that is different from being angry. And if something really makes you angry, you need to understand what are you going to do to change it. So for example, the political scenario or the societal scenario is making you angry. You might have your own causes, right? Each one of us. Someone from you might be environmentalist. You're completely against plastic or water wastage. Or you could be into social causes. You are against beggary. You are against, what you say, this roadside traffic things which keep on happening. Sellers and all. It's a huge mafia. So if such things make you angry, my question to do you is personally, what are you doing on your level to change it? So if you're feeling angry, do something practically to change it. And if you're not going to change it actively by any kind of participation, stop being angry. Because your anger is helping no one, but just spoiling your own energy in that case. But if you're being angry about any of such causes, go and practically get involved with NGOs or any other things that you can and put your energy over there. Getting my point? So there are situations in life which need aggression. Like leadership wala, I cannot get work done from any of my bhais or anyone because I'm too compassionate for that. And then what happens is, like, my husband, it's like, तेरे को बिल्कुल काम करवाना आता नहीं है. I'm like, हाँ नहीं आता है, because I lack, like, I cannot do that. I cannot get aggressive. If she says I'm late, I'm like, अच्छा ठीक है, प्रॉब्लम आया दीदी, ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ, I will be okay with it, even if she's giving excuse or what, because my thing is काम करवाना है, मतलब हो जा रहा है ना काम, खत्म बात. फिर वो 1 बजे हुआ कि 2 बजे हुआ, आई डोंट केयर. एग्रेशन करके वहां पे लाके करूँ क्या? So I was completely different when it was in the CA field, or I'm completely different when you come to Reiki 3. There, come there. There I can really be very aggressive, mind you, because I need to get things done from you people over there. So that is complete different scenario. But in general life, I really struggle getting angry because I don't, like, क्योंकि मैं समझ जाती, मैं रीजन अंडरस्टैंड करती हूँ, और मेरा दूसरा ये होता है गुस्सा करके करूँ क्या, why waste my emotion over there? उस पे चिल्ला के फायदा. So I don't shout on auto walas or rickshaw walas or any of the labor class particularly, because उसको अगर समझ में आएगा तो वो गलती करेगा नहीं, उसका लेवल ही वही है. So I stop being aggressive over there. Or when it comes to the customer care and all, many times what happens na, I've seen people, I have observed people customer care pe bahut rude ho jate hain, this thing. Many a times people vent out their anger, unka personal life ka anger on customer care calls. वो सामने बीपीओ वाला बैठा है बेचारा, उसको यस सर यस मैडम करना ही है, सो पीपल एंड अप लाइक सारा एग्रेशन उस पे निकाल देते हैं. At the end of the day, even some services being provided wrongly or something is being done wrongly, one thing, yes, take steps. I'm not saying don't do follow up or don't do anything, but this यहाँ पे venting out करके satisfaction नहीं मिलने वाला आपको. Have you tried that? Go and try that. Something has gone wrong in your Amazon order or anywhere else. Try being actually angry. कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, ना वो कस्टमर केयर वाले को पड़ेगा, ना उसके बॉस को पड़ेगा, ना ही कुछ होगा. In such cases, of course, there is something you need to practice, that is superficial anger. Now, what is superficial anger? Superficial anger is something that happens upar upar. It doesn't affect your core. So let us say, I have guests at my place, and Kamwali Bais, they do have cameras and CCTV installed in your houses. All of you will agree, all the females particularly. Can I see some thumbs up? है ना? जिस दिन आपके घर में गेस्ट आते हैं उस दिन कामवाली बाई को पता चल जाता है और उसको छुट्टी लेनी होती है. अचानक गेस्ट का आना और कामवाली बाई का छुट्टी लेना, ये बहुत कॉमन सिनेरियो है. Isn't it? Now, in the first place, it is a situation which might trigger anger in your system. So my immediate reaction in such situation would be, I immediately, अगर ये 12 बजे तक नहीं आए ना, अभी भी आने नहीं वाली है, I immediately jump to the second conclusion, she's not going to come and I have to do the work on my own. And accordingly, I will start taking actions instead of waiting. Okay, I'll get my things done, everything has sorted, वो दिन निकल गया. Up next day, as I said, I have to be compassionate, but at the same time, I cannot allow others to take me for granted. So, like right now, I am having my full-time mate. मुझे ये सारा problem आता ही नहीं है. These are all the problems when I used to have like all this chutta med earlier. So at that point of time, I used to always tell my mates, give me a call. You're taking chutti, no problem. Just give me a call. I'll be okay with it. But they couldn't do this simple thing also. So next day, if I don't scold her for that, she is going to take me for granted. So what I used to do is, मैंने मेरा दिन निकाल लिया, मैंने मेरा सब कर लिया. Instead of being that day, आइच नहीं, रात में सोते समय भी सब मेरे को करना पड़ा, ये ऐसी करती है, and बन next day तक, I do not do that way. मुझे जो करना है मैंने execute कर लिया, I have accepted the situation, I have worked it out, खत्म बात. And next day I show her superficial anger. क्या दीदी कल आए नहीं? आपको कितनी बार बोला फोन किया करो करके? या whatever I have to tell her, I will tell her. But that is not coming from the core. That is not increasing my BP. That is not giving me any shivering. That is not giving me any negative impact into my system. So let us compare it to acting. So team leaders, executors, management CEOs, they cannot like just, tell their employees or subordinates, please can you submit this report by tomorrow 7 p.m. Can we get that done? It won't happen, unfortunately. So HR people, you might need to, you cannot fire someone with like, another strategy which I've seen HRs practicing normally is, unfortunately, that's not right. But many a times, many companies, they try to blame the employee and pass on the blame to the employee before firing them off. Instead of like, it's happening because of they have to lay off for some reasons, but they do play these strategies. And then HR has to do it. HR is the bichara बल्ली का बकरा जिसको ये सारा एग्जीक्यूट करना पड़ता है. So that HR, if that HR will be like, I'm so sorry, you have to leave now, I cannot help it, will that work? So at that point of time, HR has to be diplomatic and strategic according to company's policy, whatever each company is practicing. They can be honest, they can be betraying, but this HR needs to do his or her job accurately. So in that case, it is important for this person to be balanced. So here superficial anger might get worked. Here, particularly if you need to give warning to an employee who is not performing in real sense. So imagine the HR saying, I have seen the reports given by your team leaders and they are saying you're not performing. Can you please change that? Will that work? It may not. So I'm not saying you cannot be aggressive. Your kids, all the mothers, I'm sure the mothers over here, the first question they would be, Dipti, I cannot be peaceful with my kid. I have to get things. I myself have a a toddler who will be turning 7-year-old. So I know, ask me. He manipulates me like anything. So I all the time cannot be like, हाँ बच्चा, हाँ बाबू. I have to be strict with him at times. So understand, you can be strict, you can be aggressive whenever needed, but that should not come from your core. If it is coming from your core, that is a problem. And in our household, particularly with our kid, we have this practice. No, we don't shout or this thing much. on him for anything, because we don't get angry like he has been a very good child, he doesn't paint walls or anything, but recently like there was an incident where he tried to do something. So the thing is, since we have to get him into we have to make him disciplined, तो हमको ऐसे literally pretend करना पड़ता, like I'm also like Arkai, why did you do this and this thing, and when my husband comes home I'm telling him and he's like हाँ ठीक है नहीं करना बच्चा, then I'm like I show my eyes to him, हाँ Arkai क्यों किया ऐसा. So it's like we literally have to remind ourselves कि हमको इसको थोड़ा strictly बोलना है. Otherwise, in general, we are not into practicing that, shouting and all. So, in such times, we have to pretend and we forget that. So, ऐसे आग दिखा के मुझे बोलना पड़ता है, you have to shout on him, you have to tell him. No, don't do it again. Like this. So, there has to be, yes, there are situations where you need to be strict, where you need to be aggressive. But make sure that is coming upper and not from your core. It is not affecting your core. It is not torturing you or putting you in sickness. BP. Typically, those people who have anger issues have BP, don't they? So, what is the use of that anger? अगर आपका BP कम ज़्यादा हो रहा है. So, have superficial anger, but don't get into the core anger. So, I hope I have clarified properly the principle. Just for today, I will not anger, not just the प्रवचन वाइज कि हाँ बच्चा बालक गुस्सा बहुत ही खराब चीज है, आपके अंदर आना ही नहीं चाहिए. No, we are even talking practically about dealing with it. So any questions or doubts regarding that? Everyone is clear?
Very nice session, Vitti.
Yes.
We know everything, but we just keep on forgetting it.
True, true. And implement it now.
दीप्ति,
Yeah,
कभी कभी जब मुझे गुस्सा आता है ना, मुझे रोना आता है.
it's okay. रो के भी निकाल दो गुस्सा. एंड आप व्हाइट लाइट सीखे हो सब लोग. लेवल 1 में आई टीच यू पीपल व्हाइट लाइट. सो वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वे, आई हैव आल्सो taught you forgiveness exercise. So what you can do is when you get angry with a person, write that down as I have taught you in forgiveness exercise. Cover this entire situation with white light and burn away that paper and say, now I'm burning all the negativity related to this person or this situation. See, crying again, it's like outlet. Crying is not weakness.
Yeah.
But लिमिटेशन होना चाहिए. आप सेम इंसिडेंस पे अगर 10 दिन तक रो रहे हो तो गलत है. बट उस समय आ रहा है गुस्सा, यू आर टेकिंग इट आउट ऑफ योर सिस्टम, इट्स अ गुड साइन. कि वो अक्यूमुलेट रहेगा तो तकलीफ देगा, तो रोके निकल जा रहा है, फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम, लेट इट बी, इट्स परफेक्टली ओके.
Thank you.
वेलकम. यस प्रिया.
Yeah. So, if someone says mean things to us, really mean things, but we should not, we are not taking it in, but we want to deflect it. How do we do that? Because मतलब very very bad things if people say to us, but we don't want to take it. Just smile and just like Mother Teresa or something.
See,
Don't
I
believe.
definitely do not advocate Mahatma Gandhi principle of एक गाल पे तमाचा मारा तो दूसरा गाल भी दे दो. No. But one thing you need to understand is, like I gave in the example, आपने काम सही किया था, बराबर, आपके बॉस ने unnecessary आप पे shout किया. So sticking to that same example, किसी ने आपको गिफ्ट दिया और आपने वो गिफ्ट नहीं लिया, तो गिफ्ट किसके पास रहता है?
उसके पास रहता है, that person.
Exactly. So you need to understand this thing when someone calls you names, when someone is spoiling or gossiping about you, when someone is saying you're donkey, you're pagal, whatever it is. Will you actually become that?
No.
It's all mind game. We get involved. किसी ने donkey बोला, how dare you say that? You are monkey, whatever. please replace it with whatever gali level you can replace it with. I cannot do that because मेरा vocabulary बहुत कम है when it comes to curse words. And even like I cannot watch all Indian web series particularly nowadays because they are full of those words. तो मुझे वो सहन ही नहीं होता, ना बात कर पाती हूँ. So whatever it is, whatever the worst gali if someone gives you or calls you names, understand, are you actually that, or will you become that just because someone is saying that? So it is
No.
as simple as someone is pushing your buttons and you're getting triggered.
Yeah.
Why allow that? See, I come from a space, being a Scorpio. I always, physical workshop mein I give this example. I am a Scorpio. I am a double Scorpio. And all my tarot students and astrology students know what does a Scorpio means. So I'm a double Scorpio who has all the traits, like book traits. You can literally like read the trait and I have it. Scorpio, okay. So one of the trait of Scorpios was they are very short tempered. So mark my journey, guys, from being that to giving a lecture on not getting angry. From being a walking time bomb to I am telling you, my husband clearly tells me you cannot get work done. So if I can cover that journey up, I was born with those traits. What does astrological science mean? When you are born under a certain sun sign or moon sign, you are born with those traits. Depending on other elements in your chart, वो कम ज़्यादा रहेंगे आपकी system में, but वो रहेंगे. So from being a super aggressive, not even aggressive, I would say superbly hangry person to what I am today. If I can cover that distance, each one of you, yes, it's a matter of practice. It will happen with lots and lots of practice. Patience was not my virtue anywhere. Go and find out Scorpio के बारे में Google करो, and if you can see a patient Scorpio, it's like a contradiction. It will not be in existent. So I am now taking counseling sessions and I listen to the problems all the time. I have the patience to do that. From where has that come? So you need to understand things can change with practice. So consciously start implementing everything that you learned today and you will see the difference. You're on mute, Priya. You're on mute. Cannot hear you. Yeah. So is that clear, Priya?
Yes. Sorry, I just got a call from the
No
delivery
problem.
thing.
So it's just implement whatever you have learned today and things will change. I'm not saying they will change overnight, but take that baby step. Okay?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other doubt? See, all those who are aspiring for level 3, I literally give challenges in level 3. You have to make a note. I'll assign you the Reiki principle depending on your persona. So I will give you what is your weakness. So I will not give someone who is peaceful. Like for example, I won't give Nita challenge of just for today I will not anger. I will give her something else. So depending on whatever is your weakness, I will give you that challenge. So like I'll give you example from one of our earlier Reiki 3 batch students. So there was this one person who used to be very aggressive and angry. And when she was following the challenge, because of course you have to do it with honesty, you cannot just lie ki ha I completed the challenge. So there was this some day 17 or 18 and she messaged on the group कि today in traffic particularly, that is the time na Pune ka traffic, and that too you will definitely get aggressive and angry. So today while driving this thing happened, and the driver, he cut me and went, and this thing I was about to beep beep beep. She like didn't write the words, but she like asterisk marks and all, but I did not do that. I did not shout and I did not say. So I succeeded in completing the challenge. I'm still on the challenge. I wrote a reply to that. Challenge restart, because you had those thoughts. You did not express it. That is another thing. Just for today, I will not anger means you shouldn't have it in the first place. But you had it, so challenge restarted. So like she had to literally complete 4 to 5 cycles to be there. So finally, of course, she managed to do that. So you people can manage to do that ultimately. तो चिंता मत करो, जब भी अगर लेवल 3 में अगर गलती से आ जा रहे हो, आप भूल गए, भटकते, एंट्री मिल गई, मैं इतना मारूंगी कि सीधे हो जाओगे. So that won't be an issue.
One second. So my question is actually when you say she is, I mean, he or she, the person is level 3, but what about in level 1 and 2? Did that energy did not calm her down? Or else what?
It's not about energy calming you down or not. It's about implementing it consciously.
That's
So,
like
so until and unless you implement it consciously, like for example, I knew I had anger issues. I knew I could get easily triggered. So of course, Reiki worked on me to calm me down. So when I started noticing, I told you people, I did my Reiki level 1 when I was 18. So I noticed this transformation in me, that I am suddenly calming down, right? So at that point of time, since I also was introduced to tarot within a year and I started doing tarot readings and everything, so I started working consciously on it then कि okay, देखो अपने आप मेरा anger कम हो गया बिना कुछ किए. So what if I consciously work upon it? And then I started witnessing and observing what are the situations that trigger me. And when you find the reason, when you analyze like this, is it really worth it?
No.
Being a practitioner, you will come to know it's useless.
Yeah.
So it's like, कहाँ energy waste करूँ इस पे गुस्सा करके. It will be like that. Getting my point?
Yeah.
Okay. So clear on anger. So just for today, everyone can dare to say, I will not anger.
I will not anger.
I will not anger.
3 लोगों के आए मुझे आवाज.
I
बाकी
will
लोग
not
कहाँ हैं?
anger.
Good.
Will not anger.
I will not anger.
Will not anger.
Implement this on a daily basis till the time at least we meet for next principle. I am sure if you keep on implementing this, तो वो एकदम सबके सर पे हेलो हो जाएगा by next session. Okay. So keep this in mind. And most important lesson we have learned at the end of 2022. So implement this so that your 2023 will be free of anger and aggression, unnecessary aggression. Aggression can be positive, aggression can be negative. So free of negative aggression. Clear?